face the sun, 'cause you're gonna get burned. Yeah, you're gonna get burned.
Hi guys, so it's me, Tartarus Queen Dragoness, and well, this has been kind of like a festering thing that's been going on in my mind. And I want to end this week off with this video in particular. Before anybody has any misconceptions about the later on, calling me a hypocrite later on, okay? Let me be the first to say that before anybody decides to call me a hypocrite, I'm gonna let you guys in on something, okay? I am not going to be a stubborn a-hole whatsoever at all, okay? I am a very, very open-minded person. So open-minded, probably I don't even have a sort of line that is drawn in order to, how do I say this? In order to gain insight on a particular subject, right? There are a number of people on this platform that, essentially are too stubborn to admit that they're wrong. Okay? They really are. And everybody has this, perception that, oh, just because somebody says something, that, oh, they just gave up because they're bored of you. Or the fact that maybe they don't know as much as they should. And that's the problem with a lot of content creators on this space, especially amongst the VTuber space. I can tell you straight off the bat that politics has literally hit the VTubing scene. Okay, I've known this, and I don't remember if I expressed this in a previous video. My memory is shot right now because it's like Monday morning when I'm recording this, and this is going to be for the Thursday video. So the way that I'm seeing it is that there is a lot of stubbornness and there's a lot of arrogance within the kind of like controversial political sphere of the VTuber sphere. There is. I'm not even going to deny you this. Okay, there's a lot of stubbornness. There's a lot of arrogance, and there's a lot of people whose content is based on something that is in the current state of things, right? Now, here's the really weird thing about all this. I know for a fact that the content creators today are being loyalty tested. Okay? This is nothing new. This is nothing out of the ordinary. A lot of people who have been educated about the whole Project 2025 thing should have known that this was coming. If you didn't read up on the Project 2025 thing, I'm sorry, you're out of the loop. You guys don't know what the heck you're talking about. And based on the numbers that I've seen of the approval rating of President Trump, it has gone up. Not surprisingly, as a loyalty test, because this is all that it is, people. This is really all that it is. People don't want to challenge the elected leader of the United States because it would be a very detriment thing to do, especially in the VTuber space. Because I've seen a lot of progressive and outspoken voices on the VTuber space that are getting pushed down in the YouTube algorithm because a lot of these weirdo politicians don't want you to know certain things. And I'm not one of those people. Okay? I literally am not. The more knowledge that I get, the more that I see, the more that I experience, okay, the more that my mind might be changed on a few things. It really is. But the problem with this is that there is a lot of suppressed information. Okay? And during the Orange the Orange Man administration, there is a lot of things that is being sought after and being suppressed. Either that or they're being deleted off the internet completely. Right? We have a number of YouTube channels that a lot of the content creators, especially the VTubing space, are not even fucking aware of. Like, literally, they're not aware of this. Even to a certain extent, Asmongold, even to a certain extent, Kyoshi, because they do not go out of their way to actually expand their minds to different nuances of the internet, to prove their points and stuff like that. Me, I just do whatever I need to do, right? I look in places where people don't usually typically even see it. Okay, the whole like Middle Eastern drama that's going on over there. Yeah, guys, I went into a place where I shouldn't probably even be into. I did my background research. People say that they're terrible people over there. Everybody's a terrible person over there, and yada yada yada, feelings and all this other stuff. Lo and behold, it's not as simple as black and white. Okay? And I want to make sure that literally people don't think of me as a hypocrite. Right? Because the more I see, the more I allow into my brain, so to speak, the more chance that I end up having my mind changed. Now, does this mean that I'm going to be a flippant person? Possibly in some subjects. I'm not going to deny that at all. Okay? Because there's always this sort of weird dichotomy within everybody. There's this weird debate, there's this weird discourse, right, that I'm feeling. I can't really describe it per se. It's not really a thing that I'm very good at. But it's just something that if you're very open-minded, you can actually see some of this stuff. Right? And, you know, I go through different content creators, whether it be flesh tubers, whether it be VTubers, it doesn't really matter at this point in time. But am I stubborn about anything? No. Really, I am really not stubborn. Unlike some other people on this platform, I mean, they're stubborn as fuck because they're scared straight shitless because they don't want to be deplatformed. They know that if they speak out against certain people in our government today, that they're going to get sent to alligator Alcatraz, which, you know, I mean, to some of the VTubers out here, congratulations, you're probably the target of some of the some of the crazy people up in government, right? And for some people, they're out of the country, which means they're perfectly safe. Okay? But some of us are in the country. And we gotta be very careful with what we say, right? But like I said earlier, like on Monday, I'm letting Jesus take the wheel. So, yeah, there is going to be a very, very limited filter with what I say. Okay? Limited filter. But yeah, I just want to make this short video, you know, just making sure that in the future, if it seems like I'm being a hypocrite, it's probably for a damn good reason. Because I got insight of something. That's all it is. And I'll gladly share the information that made me change my mind. Is that cool? That's fine. I hope we all get along with each other later on. As puny as my brain is, it's still gaining a lot of information. Right? It really is. And I'm glad that somehow, in some short way, shape, or form, some of these content creators are being reached out to me. Because it is really difficult, really, really difficult for any of this information to reach out to anybody. It really is. Right? And it's also even more difficult to research on this information because, again, it's being suppressed, it's being deleted, right? And not a lot of people are talking about my state or California's gerrymandering thing. Literally, nobody's even talking about that. Because it's going against the current administration. Am I afraid to say things? No, I'm not. I'm Tartarus Queen Dragoness. I don't give a crap. Am I gonna get some eyebrows thrown my way? Sure. Why not? Do I have 200 some odd million, like 200 some odd million, voting age Americans, like, trying to go in a lynch mob against me? Probably. There's probably significantly less than that amount. But I'm just broadening my horizons to cover my bases just in case something weird happens. Okay? But with that being said, request que te pache, and I'll see you guys on Friday's live stream.